Thanks all.
Joe, I know it's not about you personally, but I mean, such a remarkable one. Where does it rank for you, or in the team, just beating the Springboks at Ellis Park like that?
Yeah, it's got to rank really highly. I haven't spoken to the team that much. For me personally, last time I came here, I think we had a 26-10 lead at one stage and got absolutely swamped in the last quarter. So to come back as we did after being 22-0 down, and gee, the Springbok, when they get their game going, they are very, very hard to stop. And we probably got a little bit lucky. Even when Andre went down the left-hand touch a couple of times, one of the times just a loose ball, and Tom Wright went 70 metres and scored at the other end. So we're realistic about how we had to hang in there, but I'm really proud of the way we did hang in there. And part of that was Fraser getting over ball, and part of it was just the determination to defend our line once we got into the game.
Sorry. Can I go? I mean, that starts. I mean, teams generally don't come back, but you showed this in the Lions series as well. I guess the first half of the first test was your worst half, and then the rest of the series, you could probably say you guys are the better team. It felt like a microcosm of the Lions series in this game. This team's got a lot of resilience. What's that come from?
Yeah, I think they're actually quite a tight group. They get on very well together, and spending the week over here in Joburg, we've been really looked after superbly by St. Stithians. They've been superb, so training there and just giving the players the chance to gel together, and I thought that real collective resilience was evident today, and we're going to need it going forward. I certainly know that.
Thanks, mate.
Joe, can you just give us an injury update from all the injuries from today's game, and will you be making an SOS call back to Australia?
Yeah, possibly. Dylan Peach his jaw came off second best to see his shoulder, and he looks like he's either badly bruised it or potentially fractured it. So Peachy, we will find out. He's got scans either this evening or tomorrow morning. Harry Wilson is a little bit more promising. He just hurt that knee a little bit awkwardly when he got that second try. So he will hopefully be okay for next week. And if we do look for an SOS, then it'll probably be for a back three player if Dylan Peach isn't 100%.
Joe, congrats on a fantastic win. It was certainly remarkable. Your team's discipline, especially in that second half, was exceptional. I think only 4 penalties in the entire game, or only 1 in the second half, and 13 block, 22 entries in that the whole game. The breakdown was the key to your guys' success, especially Fraser. Maybe just chat a bit about the breakdown, how you guys targeted the net.
Yeah, I think it maybe started at line-out. We managed to steal 1 or 2, and then upset 1 or 2. So when those entries came, we managed to get it at source a couple of times, and then to be honest, as well as Fraser did and the other players did, we were probably a little bit lucky because Peter Steff at one stage just went to pick and go, and he just knocked it on, and there was a couple of errors, uncharacteristic errors from the Springbok, where I think next week if they pick and go there, and he's such a powerful athletic man that he will be a handful. So it was probably a mix of us and a little bit of inaccuracy from the Springbok, because when they were accurate, you saw that first 20 minutes. I just saw wave after wave, and even that very first try was impressive.
Fraser, just talk us through Swahili. I saw him today. I know beforehand I heard about his routine, warm routine, but can you just talk us through how he goes about his routine?
Yeah, Sue's a very professional guy. He likes to wake up early, do a stretching, get mentally right, and thought he was outstanding tonight. He brought some big collisions, some big moments. Yeah, it was outstanding.
Fraser, I'm curious what was being said in the huddle that 22-0 down and this wave that was coming, and you clearly didn't lose belief because of what we saw later, but how do you not lose belief in that moment? What were you guys saying to each other under the pole?
I think it was just about stepping into contact. Like Joe said, the Box were outstanding when they had a bit of a flow. We were lucky in that last 20 seconds in that first half to get that ball back. So it went 22-5. Then we came into sheds, got a great message from Joe and from Laurie, and it was just honestly about stepping up and getting into that contact and winning the collisions. And I think the group responded really well. And I thought Harry Wilson was outstanding. He, the first 2 minutes took the game on as captain and led from the front.
Fraser, I wonder if you could just talk to me through, I wonder if you guys felt throughout that you've been written off in the week leading up to this match, and how you guys kept your confidence in beating a world champion team at a venue where you guys also have history against you.
Yeah, it was pretty special, but to be 22-5 at half time with some dominant contacts gone against us, yeah, it was a bit tricky out there. We responded really well to our leaders, bringing us in together, and we just backed our game plan. We came in at half time, had a great game plan, and we're outward to produce some great footy in that second half. And I think Joe's been big on fundamentals and not dying on our feet. We want to go out there and we want to play an attacking style of football, and that's what we did right up until the 80th minute. Rabs putting in that kick to get a 50-22 just shows sort of his outstanding rugby IQ, and I thought it was a great game from everyone.
Just here.
Congratulations, guys, on a really special win. Joe, there's always a lot of talk about altitude here in this park, but I mean, it's undeniable that you guys finished a lot stronger in that game. Do you feel that the Wallabies managed the game a bit better? Do you feel like maybe the Springboks, that unbelievable first 20 maybe shot their bolt a bit?
Yeah, it's funny. I've coached enough teams because I'm really old, and I've had teams who get I wouldn't say it was a soft start, but they got a very, very rapid start, and it can sometimes just cause a bit of a lapse in effort and concentration. And I think they just gave us a little bit of belief. I think we won the second quarter 5-0. And so we had a little win there, and that gives a little bit of confidence. And again, I thought our bench did really well. Coming off, young Zane Nongor, he's just a kid. Angus Bell was very physical. Again, Jeremy Williams did well, and he'd done a super job coming on in the third test against the British and Irish Lions as well. Tate McDermott, he came on as a winger, he came off, he went back on as a halfback and did a super job. And so did Andrew Callaway. Just he's got a really good rugby IQ as well, Kells, and so yeah, I thought that management and that effort was that they combined to keep us probably not always on the front foot. Like the reality is, the Bok, they still got us a few times, particularly on reverse plays where they bring us to the middle of the field and sweep back, and we were only just hanging on. There was a couple of fantastic, desperate tackles where guys were diving just to get a foot or get a half a jersey. There's one where Max Jorgensen just gets a jersey, and so we're realistic about just how good they are, and sometimes you just get a little bit of luck.
Did changing the team twice disrupt the preparation in any way? Because I mean, on Thursday before the team announcement, obviously there was an injury and then team announcement and again on captain's run, and another change in match week day 23. Was there any disruptions whatsoever?
Yeah, a little bit. But Tane stepped in really well. You know, it was his birthday today. He didn't get on, but when you're the last sub, that sometimes happens. You don't get to finish the game because if we put someone on and there's an injury, you just get yourself into trouble. So we were just trying to manage the back end of the game, and James O'Connor he just grew into the game. I thought he got a little bit rattled in that first 20 minutes just with the heat that the Bok brought, but as the longer the game went on, I felt he started to manage it really well, you know, the rest of the bench was really effective as I described.
Joe, this is just from a distance. We've been looking at Australian rugby, Wallaby rugby for the last few years from here, and a little concerned that maybe rugby's battling there. But the last two performances in particular, I mean, it can change that quickly. Do you think these two performances will change the perception of Wallaby rugby, not only globally but at home?
You've got to earn that every time you go out. You know, I know with my experiences with Ireland, you know, every time we went out, we had to be really competitive every time. And so, you know, I still think we're building our depth and our strength and depth, and we're building our game shape and our commitment to what we need to deliver each time. But they're a great bunch of young men, and their effort, their ability to roll their sleeves up and earn it, I think, you know, they deserve the support that we got in that third test at home, particularly. You know, hard to come this far around the globe and get the same level of support. I didn't see too much gold there, but you know, hopefully from home in Australia, there was some really good support, and people were hanging on through to 1 a.m. or whatever it was in Australia to watch that performance.
Joe, congrats on the victory. We've seen in the past the Boks, when they're favourites, they don't perform at their best, but when they are underdogs, they tend to, you know, play way better than, you know. So, do you expect a backlash from them next week?
Yeah, absolutely, and I don't think it'd even be a backlash. Like, that game was probably closer than the score dictates, in that we scored a couple of tries when they looked very dangerous, and we got them on the break. You know, Joseph Suali is a good example. You know, they actually had numbers on the edge, and his intercept, and he got away. As I mentioned earlier, Andre up the left-hand touch, and then Tom Wright grabs it and ends up running 70 metres. So the reality for us is we know we were under pressure, and we know that pressure's coming. And you know, I've coached against the Bok with a few other international teams and come out second, so I know whether they're favourites or not, they're a heck of a team.
Anything further?
Just a quick question on the warm-up. It just looked really intense watching you warm up. I mean, obviously we don't see you every week, so is that the normal? It looked like there was a lot of contact in the warm-up. Was it different today at all?
No. Our warm-up is quite tight time-wise, but there is, you know, we've got to make sure we're ready, and there's no team you need to be readier for than South Africa for the contact. And to be fair, you know, for all our warm-up, it didn't translate into their first 20 minutes overly well. So, you know, maybe we've got to warm up a little bit harder or longer or something. But we always look at all those things, and we've got a really good leadership group who will kind of break things down and let us know how they felt going into the game, and then in that first quarter, and see if we need to just recalibrate a couple of things.
Thanks, all. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.